If he got the chance to help somebody, he enjoyed doing it.
People who knew him say he had a bright future ahead. How they're remembering a young firefighter who died in a crash.
A woman says she spent days alone on a Kentucky mountain after someone attacked her. What police said about the investigation.
Police say a suspect became tired after stealing from cars at a central Kentucky business, where they say they found him sleeping.
This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening. Thanks for watching tonight. We caught a bit of a break from the steamy air over much of the Labor Day weekend, but now it is back.
It looks like tomorrow will be more toasty. We're going to see a little bit more humidity. We begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and your no-wait weather forecast.
Guys, earlier today I described it as summertime going into overtime. We're past Labor Day, but summer just does not want to go away. Late evening temperatures mainly into the low and mid 70s across much of central and eastern Kentucky. 74 in Lexington. Winds are coming at us from the south at around 5 miles an hour. We roll into the day tomorrow. Did you like today? Then you're going to love what we have set aside for that forecast on your Wednesday. 90 degrees again tomorrow afternoon. A few folks could see a 91 or 92 reading, especially the farther west that we go. No matter how you slice it, still feeling the part of summer. Defender Radar Network has nothing going on across central and eastern Kentucky, though we're going to change that up toward the end of the week. Some scattered thunderstorms, and then we will focus on a cold front that arrives for the weekend. The hour-by-hour forecast comes your way at 11:13.
Chris, thank you. Even at a young age, he knew he wanted to help others. Tonight, a community is mourning the loss of a 16-year-old volunteer firefighter from Jackson County.
Investigators say that Chris Harrison died a few days after being badly injured in a motorcycle crash. He was a student at Jackson County High School, where he was also a member of the JROTC program. In our top story at 11, Monique Blair talked to people who knew him well.
He's one in a million. You won't find too many like him.
Flags were flown at half-staff across Jackson County Tuesday as the community mourns the death of 16-year-old Chris Harrison, a young man who was already known to many as a hero.
Him being the kind of student and citizen that he was and playing the role he did in our community, it's the least we could do to honor him.
At 14 years old, Harrison joined the Sand Gap Volunteer Fire Department as a junior firefighter.
He enjoyed this. If he got a chance to help somebody, he enjoyed doing it.
Now, in addition to being a junior volunteer firefighter, Chris Harrison was also a junior here at the Jackson County High School, and I'm told he was very active in the JROTC program.
He was just the go-to person and one that all the kids depended on.
County leaders tell us on Saturday Harrison, who was a JROTC cadet, marched in the annual homecoming parade. Afterwards, he was involved in a motorcycle accident and died Tuesday of complications from that accident. He was an only child.
And he may have been an only child, but he has about 100-something brothers and sisters, and they were all really mourning today.
Harrison's badge number 466 at the Sand Gap Volunteer Fire Department will be retired as a way to honor this hometown hero forever.
He'll always be a part of this department and this community. Well, none of us will ever let them forget about him, that's for sure.
In Jackson County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
The Jackson County JROTC chapter and the Sand Gap Fire Department are going to be a part of his funeral. We're told that he'll be buried with full military honors.
New tonight, investigators think a man could have been dead for hours before his body was found in the wreckage of his truck. The Russell County Sheriff's Office says the truck crashed off of US 127 near Russell Springs Elementary. Deputies say the driver, 24-year-old James Brown of Russell Springs, was dead in the truck. They think the truck ran off the road and went hundreds of feet through a field before hitting a fence and a tree. Deputies think the crash may have happened late last night, but they say no one knew about it until a man showed up to mow the field around 8:30 this morning and found the truck.
Tonight, we're tracking the investigation into a body found in a cave in Wayne County. The coroner's office says someone found a man's body this morning in the cave near Trails End Road. An autopsy has been scheduled for tomorrow. The man has not been identified. Police say the body was badly decomposed.
New tonight, police in Martin County say a woman told them she spent days alone in the woods after being sexually assaulted. The Martin County Sheriff's Office says they received a call last night about a woman screaming for help. Deputies say they soon found the 22-year-old woman naked, dehydrated, and disoriented on a mountain in the Tomahawk area. They say she told them she'd been there for up to 3 days.
When I went to her, I noticed the only thing she had wrapped around her was an old feed sack that she had found in the woods.
Deputies took the woman to the hospital, but there is no word on her condition tonight. They say they're investigating the assault, and they have some people in mind they want to question.
It didn't take long for police in Harrodsburg to find a man they say broke into vehicles at a car lot. They say they found him sleeping inside one of those vehicles. The suspect, 35-year-old Matthew Stewart, now faces a string of charges. New at 11, Garrett Weimer talks to the business owner who calls this a frustrating crime.
Their stories still mix with the sounds of their working, even a day after all the excitement. Employees had just gotten to work Monday at CC Auto Parts and Services when they noticed someone had pried open their drop box and broken into several cars there.
They work hard every day, try to provide for their family an honest living, and you've got guys like this out here just ruining it for everybody.
Police say Matthew Stewart, wearing gloves and a mask, was catching some Z's when they caught him inside one of the cars he had broken into. They woke him up and arrested him.
The owner says it's the first trouble they've had here since he's been in business. And while it may be bizarre finding the man asleep in one of the cars, he says it's anything but funny. It makes him mad.
I tell you, it's nothing worse than a thief. And, if these thieves and drug addicts is driving it all, if they spend as much time working as they do trying to figure out a freeway in life, then the world will be a lot better place.
It was more than just a case of the Mondays. Police say Stewart appeared to be under the influence.
I hope he gets help, and I hope he's able to turn his life around.
Caton says he's glad police were able to find the sleepy suspect so easily and get everything back from him before he got away. In Harrodsburg, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Police charged Stewart with trespassing, 3 counts of criminal mischief for damaging 3 cars, and 7 counts of theft. In Richmond, police say a couple of thieves took selfies after stealing from a few cars. Police say surveillance video shows the men stealing from unlocked cars in the Brookline neighborhood. They say the video also shows a thief stopping to take selfies. Police say they're searching social media for those pictures. They also say they have an idea of who the suspects could be, and they think a white Dodge Caliber with a sunroof could be connected to this case. So far, police have not made any arrests.
New tonight, a former University of Kentucky board chairman faces multiple charges in western Kentucky. A Davis County grand jury indicted 76-year-old Billy Joe Miles on rape, sodomy, and bribing a witness charges today. Investigators say the rape happened in early July. Miles was arrested but later bonded out of jail. He served 3 terms on the UK board between 1995 and 2013 and was chairman from 1999 until 2002. A Laurel County couple accused of injuring their twin babies appeared in court today. Police testified during a preliminary hearing for Gary and Jessica Nicely. Both have been charged with assault. Police say one of the 7-week-old babies died days after being injured. They say Gary Nicely claims he saw his wife hurt one of the babies.
That he saw her slam the child's head against the bed rail.
But police say Jessica Nicely blames Gary for the injuries, which she said happened when she wasn't home. The judge sent the case on to the grand jury. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office says the couple could face additional charges in the infant death case in the coming days.
New tonight, a teenager missing for nearly 3 weeks has been found. State police say they found 15-year-old Layla Hood from Powell County this afternoon in Lexington. Police say that she and a 17-year-old girl walked away from Sunrise Residential Care in Moorhead last month. They say they found the 17-year-old a few days later. Kentucky's first congressional district seat is officially open tonight. Republican Ed Whitfield's resignation taking effect today, days after he announced he would step down. Governor Bevin has called a special election for November 8th, the same day as the general election. The winner will serve out Whitfield's term, which ends in January. Tonight, Republicans nominate James Comer for the special election. Comer is already facing Democrat Sam Gaskins in the general election race for that seat. Democrats are expected to nominate Gaskins for the special election as well.
A man now admits he killed a Minnesota boy nearly 30 years ago, but in 9 minutes, find out why he won't be facing murder charges.
And then what police say a passenger did on board a United Airlines flight after it left Cincinnati that led to an emergency landing.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
A lot of thermometers today hitting 90 degrees on this post-Labor Day, and looks like more of the same is on the way heading into the day tomorrow. Late evening temperatures still into the 70s across much of the area. I thought after the holiday weekend, nice little cool spell, you could give the AC a break, huh? Yeah, summer's back across the Bluegrass State. It's going to stay a little while longer, too. We go through the next few days, muggy temperature, muggy air begins to creep back into the picture, especially Thursday and Friday when we are back into the humid category. This isn't like the summer muggy air, but it is going to feel a little on the humid side as we go through the next few days. And eventually, that increase in humidity will lead to some thunderstorms. I say eventually. That does not mean right now. Nothing on your Defender radar network across Kentucky, across the neighboring states. Look how dry it is for the Ohio Valley, Appalachian Mountains, into the Tennessee Valley, and really all the way into parts of the Deep South. Oh, by the way, nice little swirl off the New Jersey coast. You know what that is? That's what is left of Hermine. It is no longer a tropical system, but it still has that spin that made it famous when it developed into a hurricane just several days ago into the Florida Gulf Coast side as it made landfall. It is still going strong. How about that? All right, 90 for the day tomorrow. Back here in Kentucky, not influencing our weather. There's nothing really influencing the weather tomorrow outside of the steamy conditions. Mainly dry skies right on the end of the day on Thursday. Then we get into late Thursday with the threat for a thunderstorm or two out there. If you got a better shot for a storm this week, it is coming up on Friday. A few storms will be around, and it's another humid day as the humidity really begins to fire back up during that time. We go through tomorrow and into the noon hour already at 85. 90-ish, give or take a degree or two tomorrow afternoon. Depends on how many clouds we can get to kind of fire up into the heart of the afternoon. Don't think those are going to produce any precipitation. This time tomorrow night, back into the low and mid 70s. Early Thursday, a little more steam, a little more cloud cover too, and by the end of the day, anyone is going to be fair game for a scattered shower or thunderstorm. If the storms are a little late getting into town, you know what Thursday can do again? It can give you another 90. By Thursday night, a little better shot for some showers and boomers around. That would carry us into the day on Friday. Friday has a much better chance of producing storms than what we have coming up over the next couple of days. You can see that fairly widespread, at least on this particular model run. Should keep temperatures down just a little bit as well. Then we get a cold front into the picture as we go into the day on Saturday. That front will have high pressure that is right on top of the Midwest as we go into Sunday morning with 50, 70 Sunday afternoon, and then Monday night or Sunday night into Monday morning, some of us may be close to 50 degrees to start out a new work week. We're into a pattern, though, after this week to where we get the old roller coaster ride. We're going to have some big ups. Don't think we're done with summer just yet. Mid-80s, middle of next week. But, boy, that Sunday forecast looks awfully well. 50s in the morning, 70s into the afternoon. Guys, that's the trend, I think, for the next couple of weeks.
Sounds like we're going to kind of be stuck in it for a while.
Yeah, take the Dramamine.
Okay. We've been warned.
All right, Doc. It's a sign of the times at a Lexington bar how a piece of history will soon be returning in 8 minutes.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
A nearly 30-year-old mystery in Minnesota was solved today when a man confessed in court to killing an 11-year-old boy.
53-year-old Danny Heinrich admitted he kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and killed Jacob Wetterling in 1989. Police say Heinrich saw Jacob and two friends along the St. Joseph, Minnesota road. He said he told the other two boys to run away, grabbed Jacob, and drove off. Heinrich said he later killed the boy when he saw a police car patrolling nearby. Jacob's parents were in the courtroom today during the confession.
I want to say, Jacob, I'm so sorry. It's incredibly painful to know his last days, last hours, last minutes.
As part of a plea deal, Heinrich led police to the boy's remains last week. He was already in custody on child pornography charges, and he's facing 20 years in prison for that. But he will not face murder charges. Prosecutors say the Wetterling family wanted the plea deal instead because it was more important to them to get answers as to what happened to Jacob so they could start to heal. New tonight, the Mount Sterling Police Department needs your help finding a theft suspect. Police say the man seen in this surveillance picture stole items from the Dollar General in the Montgomery Square Plaza. They say the theft happened around 5 this afternoon.
New tonight, a flight from northern Kentucky to Houston had to make an emergency landing because of an unruly passenger. Investigators say after the United Airlines flight took off from the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky airport last night, passenger Mohammed Al-Dosari broke one of the plane's bathroom doors, threw up in a sink, and started speaking loudly in Arabic. The plane landed in Nashville and police arrested him. He's charged with public intoxication and disorderly conduct. Police say he admitted having 8 drinks before the flight. State health leaders say they're looking for better ways to track drug overdoses around the state. They say they've asked health departments, hospitals, and coroner's offices to voluntarily report overdoses. The Kentucky Department of Public Health hopes it can learn more about the trends of overdoses, like who is impacted and where.
It's already being captured. Can we figure out a way that we can go into that database and pull that out so we'll know? And that will really help us to develop strategy.
The Department for Public Health says right now it is not required that agencies report every overdose they treat.
Lexington's oldest bar will be adding something bright that pays tribute to its past. Chevy Chase Inn on Euclid Avenue will be putting up this neon sign tomorrow. It's a recreated sign from a classic neon one that stood outside the bar decades ago. The owners of the bar say after buying the business last year, they found pictures of the old neon sign, and that gave them an idea.
We felt that we needed to bring that back. We didn't have the funds to do it completely by ourselves, so we did a Kickstarter, and thankfully the neighborhood thought this was a good enough idea that they would support it, and here we are.
Ruggles Signs will install the new neon sign tomorrow afternoon. Chevy Chase Inn opened during the 1930s, shortly after the end of Prohibition. That place has so much history.
Oh, yeah.
And they have worked so hard to kind of bring it back to life. It's a really cool place.
I love that the sign says air conditioned. That's the way it was back then.
Yeah.
That was special. Brian, we say goodbye to the ultimate UK basketball superfan.
Yeah, sadly we do. Bob Wiggins was something of a celebrity at Rupp Arena and on the road. He saw a lot of games. We'll get to that in a little bit. UK soccer taking on Louisville tonight, and it's time for everyone to move past the Southern Miss loss. There are a lot of games still left to play. It would be hard to imagine a tougher way for the Wildcats to lose the season opener than what happened on Saturday night. Up big in the first half, only to lose the lead. You know the routine by now. When you look at the Wildcats' schedule, the game against Southern Miss was one Kentucky needed to have, but there are still plenty more games to play.
It's gone now. We're moving on. We have to. You know what? Especially in this league, you know, it doesn't get any easier. And you got to put it behind you. There's 12 more games left, you know, so, you know, it's like any other thing. You know, there's a lot of people out there today looking out and saying, God, I wish we would have won. You keep dealing with that, you're going to have a serious problem, you know. It's about us, nobody else right now. It's about Kentucky. It's about us, we.
The Cats open SEC play Saturday in Florida. The Gators have won nearly 30 in a row. I mean, that's unheard of. The game at Saturday afternoon, 3:30, right here on WKYT. Immediately following, you can join us for a special edition of WKYT Game Time. Mark Stoops' post-game press conference live from the Swamp. Excuse me. EKU was tested in the season opener at Purdue, losing by 21 to the Boilermakers. Several first-quarter turnovers. Costly for EKU. The Colonels never able to close the gap more than 10. But the team would rally and play much better in the final 3 quarters.
We had the mistakes early on, but a couple series in, you could tell everybody on the team was just kind of like, all right, well, we're playing football again. This is just like practice. It's just like we do every day. So you could really tell we started really cooking, and just some unfortunate things happened too soon in the game to try and correct.
You saw a resilient group. A group of guys that first and foremost you see believe in each other and believe in what we're doing. Very, very optimistic about where we're going from here and moving forward.
Colonels have a quick turnaround. They host Pikeville for the home opener on Thursday night. The UK basketball season begins November 11th. Today, the SEC schedule was released, and UK opens on the road in Oxford against Ole Miss. Then it's a 2-game homestand with Texas A&M and Arkansas to begin the new calendar year. UK goes on the road to Vandy, then returns to Rupp Arena against Auburn on the 14th. Then the SEC schedule goes back and forth at Mississippi State, home to South Carolina, down to Knoxville January 24th. UK closes January in Rupp with Georgia. February begins with the Gainesville Gators. LSU comes to Lexington February 7th. Cal and the Cats travel to Tuscaloosa. And then Tennessee comes in on Valentine's Day, a 2-game trip to Georgia and Missouri, followed by Florida and Vandy at home. And that finale at Texas A&M March 4th. That'll be a nationally televised game. There can really only be one superfan, and that distinction would go to Bob Wiggins. The Pendleton County native died today at the age of 87 or 88. Wiggins attended his first game in the 40s and got season tickets in 1954, attending more than 1,600 games in his life. Wiggins had a streak of 19 straight years and 615 consecutive games before a heart attack ended that streak in November of '96. Wiggins made a bold prediction when we spoke to him in 2012.
Because I said in the beginning of the year that this team would win the national championship. And I mean, I'm not just saying that today. I said that when they first started.
Bob Wiggins, the superfan, the top basketball prospect of the class of 2017, says he's going to Arizona just, late this afternoon, late this evening. And DeAndre Ayton picked up Arizona. He picked Arizona over UK and Kansas. Kansas was thought to be the front runner for the highly skilled 7-footer. Ayton attending Hillcrest Prep Academy in Arizona for his senior season, and he's already promised a national title. Men's soccer tonight, 16th ranked Kentucky at home against Louisville. 41st minute, Cats with a free kick, and Noah Hutchins with the unbelievable header to put Kentucky on the board. Take a look at it again. Hutchins beats the keeper. And this ought to be a top 10 highlight right there. The only goal of the game, UK wins 1-0 on Hutchinson's header. That's sports. We'll be right back.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is less than a minute away here on WKYT. Tonight's guests include Harry Connick Jr.
Some more heat tomorrow.
Yeah, back around 90 again. Summertime putting a little OT right now. 90-ish tomorrow afternoon. We'll be in the ballpark again Thursday before a late-day thunderstorm tries to cool us down. Better chances for storms Friday into Saturday. Get us to Sunday, 76 for a high.
And there are fans, and then there are super fans, and we lost one tonight.
Yeah, Bob Wiggins died, and he had said he had seen more than 1,650 games. That means he saw 57% of UK's games all time. That's amazing.
God bless him.
Yeah.